Rinus VeeKay is back in lane 1. So had the crash earlier this morning. Team has been back in the garage for a couple of hours, basically taking the bent parts off, putting new parts on, same engine, different bell housing and gearbox and everything from the engine back basically, but the same car that was crashed earlier. We saw him out here for a couple of install laps just to make sure everything looked okay, and this one will be for real. And really is going to be his first attempt since the accident to set a time. For more on VeeKay, here's Dave.
And you all saw earlier when he was out on track making that slow pace around the track, and confirmed with Woody Harvey, his strategist, indeed a leak check, a nuts and bolts check, and everything check, right, Hinch? Because after a wreck like that, if you're not going to a complete backup, which they didn't, you're taking a car and putting it back together again. You want to make sure everything's right before you go out in anger, which he's doing now.
Yeah, exactly right. It's a perfect move from the team. Make sure that all the settings were correct. Make sure that the sensors were reading the cross weight the way they wanted, the aero balance the way they wanted, making sure all the hoses, tubes were all connected properly to the engine, gearbox, radiators, and now comfortable with where the car is from a build standpoint and a setup standpoint. Rinus is back on track to see where it stacks up from a speed standpoint. As the track temperature continues to fall, this is going to be the thing to really keep track of as we head in to the final 2 hours of Saturday qualifying.
This guy, a qualifying machine in 4 starts, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd last year. Was a best finish of 8th and a top 10 last year when he made contact with Alex Palou on pit road and drove back through basically the back 2/3 of the field to salvage a good day.
Start finish, down your tool.
Green flag for VeeKay.
And it was an insanely good comeback, just overshadowed by that of Alex Palou, the man that he got into in pit lane, who drove his way up to 4th. You see Rinus's mother there watching down in pit lane. The stress level for a parent, Diff and I were talking about it earlier.
That was the scene of the accident earlier. So good to get a lap at speed through there on his first lap with no issues.
What you love to see is full throttle, absolute commitment from Rinus. First time in anger, back through turn 3. As you say, the scene of the accident, first lap, a 2:31.6. Well inside the top 30, but he needs to stay consistent. We talked already about how many drivers are in that 231 mile an hour bracket.
How much for them too, and even for Rinus, may this be a conservative run just to get a good run in the books?
Absolutely. I mean, this car was very quick yesterday in the 4-lap averages, well inside the top 10. So they'll be disappointed if they can't claw their way into the top 12 for tomorrow's shootout. But I think you're right, Dylan. It makes sense to just...
Good job. Lap 2 here. 2 more to go.
To just put a good one on the board, and then you can take a look at the data. 231.3 is that second lap, and see if there's something that you want to do to try to find a little more pace.
They should have time if they do decide they want to make another run. It may be close just to get the car cooled down and everything optimized to go back out, but more importantly, he would be in the show. 231.5 the average right now for VeeKay. Have him about 23rd, 24th as it sits. Here's the white flag. Conclusion of lap 3 for Rinus VeeKay, 231.016. About 0.3 of a mile an hour drop each lap. He's at a 231.355 average.
It's going to put him in the high 20s. Definitely not out of the danger zone for being bumped and not being locked into the show today. Let's see what this final lap has. Top speed only 236, 237. We've seen some of the Chevys hit 240 going in to turn 3. Balance-wise, though, looks pretty sorted. No big dramas.
Coming to the checker here.
And that'll do it for VeeKay. Checkered flag, 230.600 his last lap. 231.166 miles an hour average. 29th, so he's in, but not very comfortably. We mentioned the wreck earlier on his first attempt. This was this morning in turn 3, small bobble, and away he goes.
Yeah, not a corner we've seen a lot of action at from this type of accident in the last few years, really, Dylan. And just, you say, that first little oversteer moment, catches the first one, puts him offline, and the car goes around, sort of similar to what we saw out of Marcus Ericsson on Thursday, rather, in turn 4 when he got onto the curb, caught the first moment, but then off in the gray and around the car goes. You see him leaving with a little bit of a limp out of the car. When you hit sideways like that, your knees just crank together, and it can be very uncomfortable.
These cars in these cockpits very safe, but no doubt when you hit like that, body moves around, and Rinus glad to just have a clean, safe run in the books, no doubt.
Yep, the crew recovered. The car was recovered. You recovered as well. How did you work through that mentally, getting back out there and doing that?
Well, first of all, great job by the team. I mean, getting a car mostly rebuilt in 3 hours and it being pretty fast already, I mean, it's a great job, and really proud of the team. That's, doesn't matter the story today, it's their story today. So no, I'm very happy with that, very proud. And I mean, it was a hurdle getting back into the car, especially coming into turn 3 that first time. But I mean, it's still, I've done this hundreds of times around here, maybe 1,000 laps, and it's pretty straightforward. And I mean, this was a setback, definitely, but it's quite a story to get back up there again.
Did the data show you anything once you and the engineers had a chance to look at it?
Not really, no. I mean, it didn't look much looser than yesterday and Fast Friday. I did make an adjustment to make the front a bit softer, just take scrub out, and it might have tipped the scale, I don't know, but it's all the past. We move forward now.